07's going to take a look at some of the clips. We know you dominated a lot of the stats and metrics of the last match. So we wanted to take a look and give you some ideas and some opportunities where we can improve, but also show you some really quality scenarios. Looking at some sequences here where we can switch the point of attack. So this situation here where you guys are doing a really good job and showing your speed of play. You can see all the numbers that are involved defending you guys. Once we get the ball into the middle of the field here, this is a situation where I think immediately we want to start to grow a little bit and say, hey, we can get this ball out to Jay. Hannah can get this ball out to Jay, and then we can attack into the 6. She gets the foul anyways, which is great, or creates an opportunity, but just in terms of getting the ball to the other side. A little hold up from Maya to get the good run in the middle there. And now this is a situation where we get it out wide right away. Very positive, get the ball in for a service. Same thing here. Can we get the ball into the middle of the field a little earlier? So as soon as Maya receives this ball here and turns, maybe this is the situation here where we can play in and try and get us on the ball in the middle of the field. Obviously, everybody's running straight forward at full pace, but just to try and get it in a little bit earlier or bring the ball back around through the midfield. So just an idea to try and switch the point of attack a little earlier. Let's see this situation here, which I think is really good in terms of the combination. So in this situation, Hannah, if you can take your first touch out that direction and switch the point, that's great. Didn't happen, and we still keep the ball and have another opportunity. So once you get the ball, good little combination with you and Jalen here. Now this is a situation where look at the numbers that we have and look at the defenders and how they're having to deal with us. Okay, we've already beaten these two players in that situation. If we can get the ball into Riley there, that's great, and then we can continue to keep the ball moving and look at your numbers advantage that you have there. That first touch, Riley goes towards Maya. So yes, look at where their defenders are here, here, and here. So they're pretty narrow. So if we're able to maybe find that ball into this space here, now you just have to think these 3 defenders are going to turn their head towards the other side, towards the bleachers over there. And then Maya and Jay can sneak in on the back post when they're not looking. Not a bad effort. If Maya gets that ball and goes 1v1, we have a chance. So here's a good example with Zoe. Once you recognize that ball goes into Steven's feet here, we want to start to create more width to move the opponent a little bit more. So it happens a little late, and that's fine. But then you can see what happens, in this situation when we have the loss of possession. You work to get it back, but now see where Ava is. Look at Ava's body shape to go out wide. And now we can make this happen right away. And now it's really an easy game. Bump, bump, and we're outside. And I think that's Lubick there getting into the 18 for a service. So the first part of the example was, Zoe, if you can show a little bit wider, maybe we can create this same scenario with you and Jay. But then once you do get the ball, it's good that Ava gets out and is able to create a 3v1 to get the ball into Lubick. So just a little time and space, this is an opportunity for us because recognizing, where the opponent is, all of the opponent is in their half over here, and we have all this space here to be able to play out and get the ball to the other side. So you see this here, instead of playing into where they're dense, we can maybe find Bree on the right side there. Similar situation here. Ball is under control. Can we start to open up now? Give her more. Ava, come out a little further and make the field bigger here, because now you have these 3 defenders that we didn't make them work very hard. We just passed it within a small area. And even in that situation, Sammy's here. We can get it back to Lillian or even over to Bree and now create a 2v1 against this player right here. But instead now we have to transition to defend, and no big deal, but just an idea to get the ball away. So here's a positive example of it. Moving the ball, moving the opponent. I'll rewind one more time. Moving the ball, and look how the opponent now has to run. We could get this out here a little quicker. I think that's Hannah. Then we might be in a better shape. And also Zoe, making yourself available there. Here's a little transition. I think this was our corner. Little transition to defend. Good recovery from all of you. But then what's the next scenario? Can we get out wide? Good. And can we put our foot on the ball, find Sammy, and make this player here do a lot of work? Can we make her run and tire her out? Good. A little bit more Bree. Give her this angle over here. Zoe can get out here. Pretty good. Further out wide, Zoe. But you can see how now, look at the pockets of space that you have, versus their defense. So there's all sorts of gaps here for Bree to find players in through there. And ultimately we connect, and now we're out. Ava, you could maybe get a little higher for Hannah, and we can play that width. Okay, so again, thinking about how narrow they are, Hannah, look at how narrow they are here. The play is to get the ball out to our wide players here and open their back line up a little bit. Again, look at the open space. The open space is over here. So we want to make sure we get that around. And Sammy, you have more than enough ability to make that happen. So here's a great recovery on the loss of possession. So this is how you want to defend, okay? It's the back line here together, covering midfielders here. Game is very narrow, making it difficult for them to play, force them to play it out of bounds. So again, really kudos to you guys for really getting back. Here's another example of a really strong recovery on a corner, which is really difficult because you can see the numbers that they have running at us. Everybody's putting in a shift and working really hard to get back. We outnumber them by 3. I'd like our midfield to get back into this area right here a little better, but ultimately we recovered really well. This recovery here, we have 2, and this gap here is a little too big. So the coaching point here is recognizing that Ava is right here in the middle. Bree, you want to become a left back, essentially, because your right back and right center back are here. So you want to really get to this spot here because Ava's covering for you, so that you can manage and protect the space in behind. Excellent recovery speed to get back, which is great. And ultimately, they try and call something, but it doesn't pan out that way. Okay, so here's a really important point for you guys moving forward. When we clear the danger out of our 6 or out of our 18, I want you to watch the girls in the back and really focus on, did you step up enough? Did you steal any space? Were you able to take 5 yards, 10 yards? So the ball gets cleared out and we kind of walk. So we want to be up at our 18 at that point. So it's just a little 5-yard acceleration. There's confusion there, even more of a reason to step the line up. And then that way we can spread out a little bit in defense and have our wingers defend the wide areas. Can we get up a little bit now? Can we squeeze a little bit of space now? So in this situation, if we're up higher, Ava, you can commit to getting out a little bit more. Sammy, obviously, Bree, and then Zoe, you want to be on this side of this defender right here, or sorry, this winger right there, just to make sure that you're always protecting the middle of the field. And then Ava takes one off the head. Same thing here, stepping up. Look where the ball is. Can we make things a little bit tighter for them? Now, right now we're chasing a little bit. So on this clearance right here, can we squeeze space up to this area as a back line? Good. This moment here. So Maya, in this situation here, it's a transition to attack moment. It's not like it's not a bad decision, but if we can find our midfield, and again, midfielders, you've got to work to get under her, underneath, so that she can stay higher and force these two center backs to go. Because what ends up happening is when Maya comes back into the area, look how much easier it is for these girls to defend. There's really not much they have to worry about because there's no target forward, there's no center forward. So now they can just sit back and defend. So the point is if Maya can lay that off to someone and then take these two center backs to task and move them a little bit, it creates a better scenario for us in attack in a transition moment. Again, stepping up, and this is the goal that they scored. So we see our attackers are applying some pressure, but you can see the gap here is way too big from there. So it's providing them a pocket to attack. Now, if you look at where Hannah is up high there, and then if you look at where our center backs are here, okay, so that's a gap. That's a huge defensive shape, or holes in our defensive shape, which allows them to just move the ball a little bit easier. And now look at our shape, because everybody's working to get back instead of initially stepping up here to the half line, it creates these gaps that are open, and we have unmarked players or players that are running freely. Same thing here, very similar. When there's no pressure on this ball right here, we want to make sure that we're dropped, dropped facing the ball. And then if they pass short, that's what we want them to do, because then we can step and organize our lines. We can step forward. But in this situation, we don't want to have players running in behind us. So the cue is when this player gets the ball and you see she has no pressure on her, we want to immediately drop back and protect the space in behind. And again, good recovery from Bree to get back, and everybody's working, and good positioning from the goalkeeper to make the save. So again, wanted to show you guys some clips of some things that you did very well, some things that we can improve on for the weekend. So we'll hit the weekend running, and best of luck. Thanks.